Because I look small in my side screen. That's why. It's a pleasure, mate.
So how are you doing? How are you keeping busy during this lockdown? Because I can see you doing a lot of quizzes with people.
Yeah, I'm doing a lot of quizzes. I'm still doing my legal work because obviously, I still practice as a barrister. I'm still trying to get going in my second book, which is called On This Day, because I write an article for the Sunday Express every Sunday. It's about events which happened on a given day, on a given year, a given day. So I want to try and cover all 366 days. So I've managed to do about 62 so far, but because I'm here, there, everywhere, filming, doing court cases and things like that, sometimes it's very, very difficult to actually sit down and write. But yeah, it's going good.
I've got to say, I've seen on social media, obviously this lockdown's hard on a lot of people, and there's a lot of families that are having pub quizzes and home quizzes with their families, and sometimes you actually take part in it as well as a bit of a surprise for them.
Yeah, it's my way of saying, it's my way of connecting with the members of the public. As I say, I've got a big Twitter following, and if anybody asks me to actually, send them a birthday greetings or give them a sort of message of inspiration, I think it's important, given my social profile and platform, to try and help inspire people from this cruel disease in terms of the lockdown and the sort of COVID virus. And it's also my way of saying, well, members of the public, thank you for making me famous and thank you for supporting the quiz. So it's the least I could do.
What reaction do you get when you actually come on the screen and they realise they're actually quizzing against you?
They're shocked. They're shocked. They're shocked. And I do get beaten. So, it's it's about me taking part and sort of interacting with people and, trying to brighten their lives in some way, shape or form. And if I can do that, then it's not about me winning. It's about me interacting with members of the public who are going through a difficult time, like we all are. So
I know, we all want to win, but watching the chase, you always seem to be the most gracious chaser in regards to if you ever do lose in the final chase. You don't react as the beast would, who's quite visibly annoyed. You're very gracious. You congratulate the opponent. So
yeah, and I'm the only chaser who'll go and see the contestants after the show, win or lose, because really? I'll always do that because they really are excited to actually come on the show. They're excited to come up against a professional quizzer like myself and my colleagues. And if they do win, I think it's incumbent upon us to basically say, look, well done, you beat a professional quizzer. So it's no skin off my nose. And I hate to lose. I mean, I'm competitive just like my other chasers. But at the same token, if I do lose, then I've lost to a better team.
So where did your love of quizzes actually come from? Is it something you've always liked as a kid, just, having your knowledge? And I see you've got something there. Oh, your book.
Yeah.
It's all in the book.
It's all in the book, Chasing the Dream. Because remember I said to you that, I'm still doing a tour. Obviously, it's been sort of put on hold because of the lockdown. And I do want to come to Cheltenham. So, they are definitely on my hit list. So, yeah, it's all in there. As you can see there at the back of the book there, that's an image which basically shows, can you see it?
Yeah.
Can you see it clearly?
Yeah.
Well, that shows the three things which basically sum my life up: my love of law, my love of football, and my love of learning. And all of those three things combined to help change my life, really. And, the one thing I say about education and learning, you're never too old to learn. We can see now during the sort of lockdown that quizzing is a new cool. Everybody wants to take part in quizzes and people learn and are interested in taking part in quizzes. So ever since I was a little boy, I used to love watching quiz shows. I was very fascinated how people could answer questions under the pressure of the spotlight, under the pressure of the gaze, studio audience there, stomach churning. And I wanted to be like that. But you know what they say about procrastination? It's a thief of time. And if you sit on your sofa and don't do anything about it, you can allow life to pass you by, especially in relation to that. So I wanted to see how good I was as a quizzer, not in relation to the prizes which are on offer, to see how good I was in a studio environment. And that's how I got started.
And was Mastermind your first taste of television quizzing?
No.
So what did you do before that?
Well, as I say, if you get the book, it's all in there. But plug. I did shows like The Weakest Link, 15 to 1. The very first show I did was called 100% on Channel 5. I've done loads of shows. My breakthrough show was a show called Greed with Jerry Springer, where I was part of a team where we won £250,000 and I was the team captain. So, but I always wanted to do Mastermind because I watched the very first show back in September of 1972. And, you know, when it became mainstream TV, where, you know, in its heyday, had views of 20 million people watching it. So, you know, when I took it off in 1997, when I say procrastination is a thief of time, I thought my chance had gone. And when they brought it back in 2003, I remember my career was going through a bit of a slump because I'd broken my ankle and I was practicing by myself at home. And I remember buying a newspaper and seeing the 2003 champion, Andy Page, holding up the trophy. And I said to myself, God, I wish that could be me. Right, I'm going to do it. And I was the first black person to apply for the show.
Wow. So you made history as well.
Well, yeah, I suppose so. The first black person to win. And it wasn't just a victory for me in terms of proving what I could do. It was a victory for people of my colour to show that, and people of my background. I come from a humble working class background. I still live on the same road I've lived on the last 55 years, so I've not allowed fame to actually dictate or change my life. And it basically proved that as black people, we're more than just dancers. There's more than just the negative press. We are clever. We can succeed if we use our minds. And I always say to young people when I go into schools and colleges that the key to staying in control of your own destiny is to have an educated mind.
Well, talking of success, I actually believe you applied to be an egghead and didn't actually get there. Now you're a chaser on the most successful TV show.
This book, plug, starts and finishes when I lost the Eggheads Grand Final. And I was sitting in my car. That was my first defeat on a quiz show in 5 years, listening to Steely Dan's greatest hits, wondering where it all went wrong. How did I lose that show? And I was sitting there for an hour. I was basically thinking about my life, and I thought to myself, you know what, this would make a good story. So the story was originally called True to the Game, and it was always going to be about my quiz exploits. And I was going to publish it to coincide with my appearances on Are You an Egghead? But you know what prevented me from doing so?
What's that?
A film called Slumdog Millionaire.
Really?
Can you imagine my story up against an Oscar-winning blockbuster?
Yeah.
I would have stood no chance, none whatsoever. So I thought to myself, you know what, go away and reconstruct the whole book, and people are going to want to know where you've come from, not just the quizzing. They want to know where you come from, and you know what, people love it. They really do. It's an inspiring book. I think so, and a lot of people have said so.
I just love the fact that you applied for the show, didn't make it, but now you're on the most successful quiz show on TV, and the viewing figures just go up every series. It's not something that goes down.
I am the world's first chaser.
You're the world's first chaser.
I'm the world's first. Every other chaser around the world, right, starts their origins with me, and the producers always call me the #1 chaser because I was the first one. Because what happened was once they started to broadcast Are You an Egghead, I get a phone call from ITV. They said, can you come in for an audition for a potentially exciting new game show? So I said, all right. So I've gone in. So they've asked me 30 questions. I've got 28 out of 30. So They said, what am I doing in terms of quizzing? I said, because I've retired. Because I came out of retirement to try and become an egghead. So I went back into retirement. You know, I've done it, been there, not like I can really do anymore now. So they said to me, have you got any quizzing things at the moment? I said, well, I've not, no, not really. But I said, I am on Are You an Egghead? So they said to me, how do you do? So I said, I'm not telling you. I'm going to use it as my audition. So I walked out of the room. So I think they must have contacted BBC to find out where I got to. So I got to the grand final. So they showed the grand final on December the 2nd, 2008. And the following day, I was in front of an ITV commissioning panel. Can you just wait here for a minute?
Of course. I've got to say, for me, in the comedy world, you have Dan and Rodney, Laurel and Hardy, but I think one of the best double acts on TV is actually Shaun and Bradley, because you two have this.
We get on very well, and I tell you the reason why I think we get on well. Bradley's a guy from who grew up in Watford. I grew up in Wembley. I'm 2 days older than Bradley. 2 days.
Okay.
So I'm born June the 2nd, 1960. He's born June the 4th. And although, we've had different paths to where we've got to today, because Bradley used to be a professional footballer. He gave that up because he wanted to be an entertainer. And the one thing I admire about Bradley is that, he served his apprenticeship. He was a red coat. He's done the clubs. He's done the working man clubs. He's done the cruises, you name it. And the one thing I've always said about how well, there's loads of people who are talented. There are better quizzers than me. There are better entertainers than Bradley. But you know what? The difference between myself and Bradley and anybody else of our ilk and generation who do the same things that we do is that if you've got the talent, you still need that bit of luck to be seen by the right people at the right time.
Yeah. A lot of people say that, don't they?
Chance. And the one thing I always say to a lot of people is this: always make sure you put your talent on show, you put your best foot forward. You know why? Because you never know who's watching you. Same thing happened to Bradley. Bradley, I'm sure, as I say, I'm sure he'd agree with me that, very, very talented, but there's loads of people who are talented as him. They've done the hard yards, but they've never made the breakthrough. Somebody saw Bradley. I like him. Guess what? I'm going to give you a chance. Next thing you know, he's presenting at the London Palladium. Next thing you know, he's doing Wheel of Fortune. And from there, he's diversified in terms of how talented that guy is to acting, singing. When I was first working on The Chase in 2008 to 2009, I was working on it myself for 4 months. I had to go through 3 different auditions in front of 3 different commissioning panels. And we had an original host who was so wooden. I'm not going to mention his name. He was so wooden. He made the Sherwood Forest look animated. He was that wooden. Then they brought in Mark, so I got to meet Mark for the first time. And every chaser who's come on to become a chaser has had to buy into the concept that, listen, there can't be any egos between us. Yes, we're all very good. Yes, I'm sure some are better than the others. But the minute you start basically putting on show that I'm better than you, the concept's not going to work. And every chaser who's been appointed has bought into that. So myself and Mark went up to Manchester. It was the day before my 49th birthday. And I was supposed to be doing a murder trial being led by QC. And I said to my QC, I said, look, I need to do this show. Will you let me go? He goes, Shaun, as long as you get cover, not a problem. I had to pay my stand-in for a week, £4,000. You know how much I got for per show? £100. But you know what? I knew it was such a good concept. I knew it was going to have legs. And 10, 11 years later, here I am.
Hopefully the money's gone up over the success of the show.
It is, but you know what? I've never done Chase for the money. I've done it because I love doing it. And obviously, with me, if there's a payment or reward for doing a good job, then yeah.
Is it because you see different things in the papers? A lot of people say the chasers will get a bonus if they beat the contestants. No, that's not true.
Listen, I don't follow clickbait. I don't listen to clickbait. I've had Shaun Wallace is sacked. Shaun Wallace is so useless. He can't answer that question. You know, guess what? Doesn't bother me. The only people I need to impress are my bosses, the respect of my fellow chasers, Bradley, and the crew I work around with. Any other comment, guess what? If it's good, great. If it's not, it's a water off a duck's back. Not interested.
So how does it work? You know, at the beginning of the show, when they bring the chaser on, are you all backstage?
No. Bradley doesn't know who the chaser is. The contestants don't know who the chaser is. We work on a rota system now. So that does allow me, for example, if I can do a quick court matter in the morning, I can do that. Then I always film when I'm required to film the third show.
Has it ever affected your being a barrister? Because you're obviously famous now. So I mean, people might look at you in court and think, "Oh my God, it's the guy from the chase." People
recognising who I am.
Yeah.
Completely different environment. The court, any jurors, and rightly so, are not interested. I'm a chaser. All they're interested in, can I present the case in a competent and professional manner on behalf of the client I'm representing? They're not interested.
Do you know, I think for me personally, I know a lot of people will say it, you are a massive reason why the chase is successful, because you bring that element of fun. It's not just serious. I mean, the many times that you've sung different songs, and Bradley's reaction is just priceless. And again, it brings that double act in, because he's looking at you sometimes thinking, "What, what are you doing?"
Yeah, what am I doing? And Bradley's a funny man, but sometimes, guess what? He'll crack a joke, and I'll just look at him. Look, I'm not interested. Yeah, I'm here to play a game. Right? And Bradley, people know that we've got a great chemistry. We've got a great. He just texts me anyway. We've got a great chemistry. But when I'm there to quiz, I'm there to win. Right? So the grumpy persona you see is not me being grumpy. It's me being, listen, I'm not here to joke. I'm not here to smile. I'm here to win. So that's how they developed the character of me being grumpy. Because when I first done it, I'm not smiling for. I'm here to win.
Yeah.
But I'll crack a joke. I'll smile. I'll sing. I'll bring my personality out. But at the end of the day, I'm not interested, right, in your silly jokes, right, in your comments, right. They can say what they like,
The thing is, when you were last on the show, I had so many people come up to me and say, "Oh, we love Shaun," because you're now seen as a bit of a sex symbol as well. And I know you get that a lot on social media. It was that unexpected.
I don't know about
that. So last time we did a quiz on the show, but we're going to go one better, where we actually quiz you, and you're going to quiz me as well. We're going to do it in the style of the final chase. So I've managed to get, which I think is 2 minutes worth of questions. So we're going to have a little play of the final chase. Are you up for that?
All right. Do you want me to ask you first, or am I going to go first?
Up to you. What would you prefer?
All right, I'll go first.
So I'm quizzing you first, am I? Or are you quizzing me?
I'm quizzing you first.
Okay. Let's put some music in the
I want to
background.
make sure I get questions, right, that are... I'm a professional quizzer, right? So I don't want to be asking you questions which, it's not going to be fair to you if you get my meaning, yeah?
Yeah. We're going to add some tense music to this.
Well, you can.
There we go. We've got some of the chase music.
Yeah, just be careful though that the RTV Commission of Broadcast don't hear you playing that, because they can really be really, really strict. So just be careful. Can you believe it? There's something wrong with my... Right, okay. Ready?
Yeah.
Question number 1. Which 18-year-old singer became in 2020 the youngest person to record a James Bond movie song?
18-year-old singer. Billie Eilish?
Correct. In February 2020, which competition was won by Tap and Turley?
MasterChef?
Love Island. Question number 3. Tesco has become the first UK supermarket to sell what in different skin tones to reflect racial diversity?
What in different skin tones? Tesco's.
Yeah. Became the first UK supermarket to sell what in a different skin tones to reflect racial diversity?
No idea.
Plasters. Who was the director of the 2020 BAFTA-winning film 1917?
No, it's gone past.
Sam Mendes. In 2020, Burger King launched its first plant-based burger in the UK. How is it not deemed suitable for vegans and vegetarians?
How is it not deemed
suitable for vegans and vegetarians? This is all in the news.
Is it the BAP?
No, because it was cooked on a meat grill.
Oh, God, that's terrible.
On winning a 2020 BAFTA award, who said in his acceptance speech, "And thanks to my grandma, I guess, for dying. I'm sorry."
Do you know I'm terrible at films?
Now, I'll read the question again, Lewis. On winning a 2020 Brit Award, who said in his acceptance speech, "And thanks to my grandma, I guess, for dying. I'm sorry."
The Lewis Capaldi?
Correct.
There we go.
Which Queen Bee was the masked as the winner of the Masked Singer?
Nicola Roberts?
Correct. Which actress was nominated twice for an Academy Award at the 2020 Oscar ceremony but failed to win?
Kate Beckinsale?
Scarlett Johansson. Which Sailor of the Century and Just a Minute host died on the 28th of January 2020, aged 96?
Bob, is it Bob something?
Nicholas Parsons.
Oh.
Nicholas Parsons. Who had the first UK #1 single in January 2020 with a song entitled River?
Lewis Capaldi?
Ellie Goulding.
Oh.
Which Olympic sport do teams have to move backwards in order to win?
Backstroke.
Rowing. Cutthroat Jake was the arch enemy of which fictional TV character?
Fictional.
Remember this from your childhood?
Who is it again?
Cutthroat Jake was the arch enemy of which fictional TV character?
No, that's
character.
Before my time, I think.
Captain Pugwash?
No, that was way before my time.
Okay, sorry. What is the only US state that can be written using one single line of a QWERTY keyboard?
Ooh, don't know.
Alaska.
Do you know, I'm looking at the keyboard now, working that out.
Right, a couple more. Who is the only UK female music artist to have had a #1 single as a solo artist, in a duo, in a quartet, in a quintet, in a collective, but never in a trio?
Cheryl?
Mel C.
No, I would never have expected
The Spice
that.
Girls,
No.
but she never had it as a trio, and she had it in a collective called He Ain't Heavy, He's My Brother in 2012.
Wow. Yeah, I've done terrible.
Well done, you've done well, mate. Okay.
So with yours, I'm going to ask you as many as I can in 2 minutes. So I'm going to put a 2-minute time limit on it for you.
Okay.
Turn that. There we go. So your time starts now. Which girl group performed during the opening minutes of Channel 5's launch in 1997 in the UK?
The 30th of May 1997 was the Spice Girls.
Correct. In which year did Coronation Street first air?
The 9th of December 1960.
Correct. In tennis, who has won more women's singles Grand Slam titles? Is it Martina Navratilova or Serena Williams?
Serena Williams has won 23.
Correct. Which European city hosted the 1936 Summer Olympics?
That was Berlin.
Correct. Matt and Luke Goss and Craig Logan made up which band? Correct. God Only Knows was a 1966 hit for which band? Correct. Wow. Gordon Sumner is the real name of what famous... This is incredible. What is the capital of Barbados?
Bridgetown. I was there in January.
Which 1980s group was the Reverend Richard Cole part of?
He was part of the... Hold on, wait, he played the keyboards. He played the keyboards in the Communards.
Correct. Pirates of the Caribbean released.
Can you say that again? I didn't hear that, kid.
How many Pirates of the Caribbean movies have been released?
Oh, it's either 3 or 4. I'm going to say 3.
It's actually 5.
Okay.
On that one. What is the largest landlocked country by size?
It's the 9th country, largest country in the world. That's Kazakhstan.
Correct. This is incredible. Queen Elizabeth II is the longest reigning monarch of the UK, followed by Queen Victoria. But who is third?
From 1760 to 1820 is George III.
Correct. Who painted the Mona Lisa?
Leonardo da Vinci.
Correct. Who created The Simpsons?
Matt Groening.
Correct. What temperature centigrade does water boil at?
100.
Correct. Well, there we go. So that's 2 minutes up, and you got every question but one correct. I was going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And if I had asked faster, you would have got a lot more in. That's incredible. Your knowledge is just insane.
You know what it is? You know what the key is, Lewis? If you're interested in something, you're going to remember it. You know, I'm not saying this to be sort of flash or flippant. I'm no cleverer than anybody else. But I have a love of learning, and people should use their mind as a computer. Your mind absorbs so much things. When you're younger, you'll be surprised what you absorb. The key why I'm so appear to be so good, and I would say I'm good, is because of the fact A, I'm trained as a barrister. B, I'm trained to think under pressure. B, I'm trained to think on my feet. D, I'm trained to research. And B, I've got a love of learning. And if you have a love of learning, it's going to make it easy for you to remember.
I tell you, that does actually show in the final chase, because a lot of chases, when the time's ticking and they haven't quite got to where they need to be, you can see the pressure gets them. Whereas you're the one that's always calm and cool and collected.
Yeah. Even if I'm behind, if you know, guess what? If I'm going to lose, I'm going to lose. But you know, one thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go to the very end.
Yeah. Well, Shaun, honestly, it's always a pleasure talking to you. It was a year ago since we last spoke, and then you kindly recorded a lovely message for my wedding as well. And hopefully, we're going to get you in Cheltenham to do this book signing.
Yeah,
a lot of people are interested.
Definitely. Try and get the book, Lewis. I'm telling you, read it. You'll enjoy it, mate. Trust me.
And that's available on Amazon and all the book sites.
You can get it. What I'll do, I'll send you. My publishers are called Cranthorpe Milner. Right. So if you go to my Twitter page, you'll see the details where you can actually get it.
Perfect. And there's a signed copies available because a lot of people like that.
Yeah, if you want me to sign it, I'll sign it, mate. Honestly, not a problem.
Perfect. We'll get all the links put in with this interview. And thanks again for joining us during this lockdown. And it's good that you're keeping busy and helping other people with quizzes.
If you can put a link in relation to my book, it would help as well. It'd be really good.
Yeah, no, of course. We'll put that all in there. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Well, give my regards to your husband as well, yeah?
Thank you.